The Zach Ratliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Texas, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show. Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show, weekend after Thanksgiving edition. Really, I got some new equipment. I'm just playing with it, but I thought I'd go ahead and learn to use all this stuff and update us on, just some stories and all that. But number one, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. We got a lot to be thankful for. We live in the greatest country to ever exist on the face of the earth. So thank God for it. That's what it's about. George Washington. Today we need to give thanks. George Washington believed we were in covenant with God on this country, and we have been for a long time. We've gotten away from that. We need to get back to it. So I'm going into that a little bit, and then I'm also going to go into, just what else there is. So let's just start with this. This is from JMT on X.com. It says it's basically going, you hear people, it's crazy to me that people argue, was Jesus even real? Okay. And it's crazy because I get if you argue the divinity of Jesus, but it is a fact that he was a man that existed. And so then it goes to this total manuscript count. It says Socrates had 0 manuscripts, right? Plato had 200 to 300 manuscripts. Aristotle had over 1,000 manuscripts, somewhere over 1,000 manuscripts. Jesus, there are 25,000 manuscripts about him. He's the most documented man from ancient history. And yet all of a sudden, this thing goes on to say, all of a sudden, he's not real. He's more documented than Julius Caesar. He's more documented than all those guys I just listed. Now, you can argue you don't have to believe he was God. I certainly do. But he did exist. And so, we're thankful to him for this nation. All right, let's go on. Let's get into politics. Let's have a little bit of fun with it. This is from Joshua Hall on X.com, then from Fox News. And Fox News headline is the connection between the FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago in 2022 and the Russia collusion narrative. It's a breaking former... Oh, I forgot to have my phone hooked up to this thing. Breaking former Republican Congressman Devin Nunes exposes why the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago in 2022. They were looking for the intelligence community assessment that he wrote that exposed Russiagate and Barack Obama's plot to overthrow a duly elected United States president. The FBI tampered with evidence and was looking to seize Nunes's intelligence assessment so they could cover it up. We've known that was the case. Now this man has come out and said that it was the case. Time and time again, our worst suspicions are proved true through what Biden and Obama did. Remember, they were radically going to change this country, and they did in a lot of ways. How smart and how led must our founders and framers have been for our country to withstand this beating, right? For our Constitution to still hold up. And if you want to know what fixes all of this is to get back to the Constitution. That's key. That's key in all of this. Now, here's an interesting thing. With it being Thanksgiving, a lot of people hit the woods on Thanksgiving. This comes from Derek Evans on X.com. He said, an estimated 200,000 deer hunters hit the woods on opening day of rifle season in West Virginia. Then I don't know how many in Arkansas and Texas and every, a lot of people hunt around Thanksgiving. I know my daughter and I, we went hunting and we got one. We got a meat deer, we got a doe, and that's all right because we eat them. And so, but it says 200,000 people went hunting in Virginia on opening day of season.
Not a single mass shooting took place. It's almost as if guns aren't the problem. That's exactly right, Derek Evans. Good job. This is from Joshua Hall on X.com. Looks like, it says breaking 30 former Obama administration officials have reportedly been interviewed by the FBI and are cooperating with the U.S. Attorney's Office to build the seditious conspiracy case against former President Barack Obama in exchange for immunity from prosecution. This is why Obama's own people have been publicly speaking out against him, and the Obamas recently purchased a home in and moved a large chunk of their assets to the UK. Now, I don't know if that's all true, but that's what's being reported right now, and that's crazy because we knew. I mean, and look, I understand this goes to a lot of what I think anyway, right? Just in, President Trump nullified everything signed by Joe Biden's auto pen, executive orders, pardons, special directives. That's from DC Drano. This was last night about 10 o'clock. Change is a-coming, folks. We've just had to let them get all the... And here, all these quote-unquote conservatives like, oh, he hadn't done anything. We need to go faster. He isn't going fast enough. He's still been setting the chessboard. We've only just begun. And maybe not. Maybe I'm just the one that's deceived. However, all these conspiracy theories that I have, all these things that I believe, keep being proved to be right because of logical thinking, critical thinking, learning to think for myself. Thank God I was taught to think for myself, not just drink the Kool-Aid. Now, look, a lot of times that's burned me and a bunch of people I know because you're the weird man out, and I get that. But goodness, oh man, let's see. This is from Donald J. Trump on X.com. I'm going to read this. Oh, this is pretty long. I'm going to read it. This is from Donald Trump on X.com. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, from the census, what are you saying there? Most of which are on welfare, from failed nations or from prisons, mental institution, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. That's absolutely right. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 a year in benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, and large deficits, etc. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the street looking for quote-unquote prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. I didn't know this was in here. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, this is all from Donald Trump. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both. While the worst congressman woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the USA illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated when her place of origin is I don't know that word, backward and crime-ridden nation. It looks like decadent. But I don't think decadent fits there. Anyway, it might be a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. Permanently pause. That's good. Terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country. Amen, brother. Denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. Come on. And deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. Here we go, baby. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through the unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. That's what we need. I had not read that. Fun thing about this podcast is you guys hear about some of this stuff just as soon as I do. But golly, that's awesome. That's what leadership looks like, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to slander him all over for it. Looks like far left activist and Islamist target a Catholic bookstore in France, claiming it's fascist for selling the Bible and Christian books and statues of Mary and Jesus. Well, of course it is. You know, if you're a Christian, you're just a hateful bigot. Same thing on November 27th, that day in history, Pope Urban II at the Council of Clermont declared the First Crusade. He called on Christians everywhere to retake the Holy Land. Happy Crusade Day to everyone, says Appalachian Liberty. Look, I'm hoping it doesn't get there, right? I'm not calling for that. I'm not pushing for that. But we need to wake up to what's happening to Western civilization. And look, I just go with the articles that I find, but here we go. Okay, Wall Street Apes. If you're not following Wall Street Apes, you should follow Wall Street Apes. Here's what happens when you enter other countries illegally. Singapore, 6 months in prison. If you enter Russia illegally, that's 2 years in a labor camp. India, you get 8 years in prison. Pakistan, you get, or Pakistan, Pakistan, you get 10 years in prison. North Korea is the death penalty. And if you enter the United States or Canada or even Europe, what do you get? Free housing, healthcare, education, food, public transport, cell phones, and cash. That's exactly right. We're giving it all away. It's the whole cow and the milk thing, just on a larger scale. It's just crazy. All right, this is from Gunther Engelman. I like a lot of what he says. This is from a few days ago on the 27th. Fewer young Americans are ditching reality and identifying as transgender per a new bombshell study. Transgender ID among college kids plummeted from 6.8% to 2023 to 3.6% in 2025. Here's my deal. If you're an adult, do what you want to do. Don't force me to do it. Don't force me to like it. Don't teach my kid about it. That's my job. However, 3.6%, the media would lead you to believe that it's every other person you've ever met. Once again, the media lies. The media lies, in case you didn't hear me. Let's see what this is. It's from James Woods, but I'm trying to... James Woods talking about President Trump's statement. He said, anything short of this and America is doomed. Talking about this statement I just read. Now, this is from Dr. Malouf, Maalouf. I don't know. Islamic scholar. Christians and Jews are monkeys and pigs to us. That's what Allah called them. Allah called them so to make it easier for us to kill them because they are not real humans. We have to know what everyone believes. Because if you don't, then you can be deceived. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that simple. Jim Ferguson, X.com. Breaking shockwaves in America tonight. Trump just dropped the hammer. The crimes and failures of the Biden administration, the open borders, the chaos, the bloodshed have not been forgotten. Trump made it crystal clear. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from places you don't even want to know about. We must re-examine every single alien, said Trump, who entered under Biden. Yeah, Trump's laying it down. It's time to go. He knows that this midterm's coming up. He knows where we are in that. But also, he knows he doesn't have to win re-election. So, here we go. This is from Dr. Russell McGregor. President Trump is using the U.S. Navy to demand evidence of Venezuelan complicity in stealing the 2020 U.S. election. Now, this is what I found interesting. He will squeeze them with an oil blockade until they cough up the data that aligns with the U.S. intelligence captures. If they refuse, the economic pain will cause a revolution. Here's what Trump wants. Source code, the actual computer program that basically what this goes on to say is Venezuela, which you've heard, in the nether regions of reporting, Venezuela holds all the information that was deleted from the voting machines and everything else in 2020. They still have the originals that can prove that the election was stolen 100%, which it's obvious at this point that it was. I don't even know how you could argue that it wasn't. Did you all see this from the guy who shot the National Guardsman in D.C.? This is from Amy Meck on X.com. The D.C. attack is even more explosive than first responded. The suspect wasn't just any Afghan migrant. According to multiple outlets, he was a highly trained veteran of Afghanistan's elite commando corps, fighting alongside U.S. Special Forces in Kandahar for over a decade. And then they had his badge. Several reports now claim Lakanwal was part of the CIA-backed Kandahar Strike Force, a covert paramilitary unit described as the most lethal and secretive forces of the Afghan war. They're turning on us. We need to be aware. And it helps if you know who's coming into the country. Most likely. Here's this out of the Netherlands. This is that Dr. Malouf again. Maalouf. 18-year-old Syrian Muslim girl was tied up with tape and drowned in a ditch in the Netherlands by her father and brothers for removing her hijab and being too westernized. There's a picture of her. She's beautiful. When they were arrested, they defended themselves by claiming honor killings are a part of their culture. A part of their culture. Honor killings. What a wild world. We need to know who's against us. We don't necessarily have to be against them, but they're against us. And we need to know that for certain. All right, let's keep on keeping on. It's a picture of this lady that got shot. After D.C. National Guard shooting by Afghan national Muslim in Dearborn calls for revolution against America. Yeah, that's right. This is from Kim Katie USA. So this guy's walking through, and I guess I could show you, walking through Dearborn, calling for a Muslim revolution now, calling to overthrow the United States government now. What a wild thing. What a wild place to be. Golly, it's just crazy. Now, here's this. Open source intel on X.com. U.S. Special Operations Troops and Puntland counterterrorism forces carried out a pre-dawn assault on ISIS Somalian hideouts in the Balad Valley. More than 100 American operators. Well, it looks like we just laid it down on some boys. We just went in there and hammered the leader of ISIS. Good. Let's go get them. Let's go get them. It just says BAM. President Trump and Kristi Noem are officially terminating the temporary protected status of Haitians. Over 350,000 Haitians must leave the country by February 3rd or face deportation in a lifetime ban. Good. That's from Nick Sorter, X.com. Let's see. What else do we have? Like I said, I wasn't even planning on doing a show today, but just wanted to make sure that all this new equipment worked and all of this. Breaking, the FBI will be setting up interviews with the so-called Seditious Six. The six traitors are Elisa Slotkin, Mark Kelly, Reps Jason Crow, Chrissy Holohan, Chris DeLuzzo, and Maggie Goodlander. These are the people who called for the military not to follow the orders of the president. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that's been happening, and I just wanted to make you all aware of it as you listen to this, either over the weekend or on your drive on Monday. Anyway, thank you everybody for supporting the show. I'm excited about the new equipment. I will now be able to do phone interviews with people. So we'll be doing that. We'll be adding some, some sound effects in. Yeah. We've got some cool stuff coming, and it's just going to be, well, it's not going to be crickets, but it's going to be good, and I look forward to it. I look forward to where the show's going. Thank you for growing with me. Thank you for being a part of it, and I hope God blesses each and every one of you today.
Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show.